Hello and welcome to the first revision of the second episode of the Oracle of Seasons speedrun tutorial. Since the making of the earlier tutorial, some news threads have been found which I believe should be included in this tutorial. Therefore I decided to make a new video, and this video revises the route from the boss key in Dungeon 1, where we are right now, until the bracelet room in Dungeon 2, so this is a pretty long video. The reason for this is because there is an RNG manipulation found by Jangler and Zmaster, which prevents, for one, Aquamentus farm charging, which allows you to not lose time on that, gives you perfect Rosa patterns on the way to Dungeon 2, and 10 rupees as drops, so that means you don't have to gather rupees anymore. It manipulates Moblin Road, so it's predictable what kind of pattern you get, and it makes it a lot safer. And it also takes care of the first rooms in Dungeon 2, which is really convenient, especially in the bracelet room, where the moblins are to the left of a pit, which you can't cross. So yeah, this manipulation actually starts after you get the boss key in Dungeon 1. So this is the boss key room, there were 3 moblins here, and you've killed them all, and you grab the boss key. So you open the save and quit menu, and then you save and quit. But instead of pressing all 4 buttons at once, which we call a soft reset, you want to actually hard reset your console or your emulator. So in this case, I am playing on emulator for this video, and I am using Combate Speedrun with a BIOS file. So when you hard reset, the BIOS file will show up usually if you don't have a BIOS file or you're playing on an older version of Combate or BGB without a BIOS file. Don't worry too much about it. You can just compensate your end time for this if you don't have a BIOS file. It's definitely worth it though, so yeah. So after you reset, you get this title screen, of course, and the thing is this entire title screen rolls RNG, so you want to mash through it as fast as possible. So once you hard reset, you mash start and A until you get to the file select screen. Once you get to the file select screen does not roll RNG anymore, it doesn't change it anymore. So from here you're safe to just do whatever you want, but you can still mash start and A. And this brings you to the start of the manip. Usually this puts you at a certain set of RNG values that you can have. And in order to get to the right RNG value, to sync them all up, you want to use sword slashes. So the sound of your sword actually is determined by the RNG value. So you have 3 different sounds: a mid sound, a low sound, and also a high sound. There it is, that's a high sound. So especially for me at least, the mid sounds and the high sounds are somewhat hard to distinguish sometimes, but yeah, it requires a little bit of practice, I guess, and a little bit of familiarity with your RNG value. So slashing your sword actually rolls the RNG, so at this point I can't do the manip anymore because I've slashed too much. So I'm gonna hard reset again to get back to the first value. I mash start and A through the title screen, and then we're back here. Let me actually make a save state for this. So you want to listen for a certain pattern of sword slash sounds, and you want to wait until you hear a low sound and a high sound. A low sound followed by a high sound. So I just got a mid sound. Mid. I fucked something up. Let me try again. There we go. So low. Is that a mid? I don't actually know. That's what I'm saying. It's really hard to distinguish a mid and a high afterwards. Let me try once more, see if I can actually get it. I think that was too slow again. Mid, low, mid, I think. You can still use this RNG, by the way, as a backup, but I don't know why I can't actually get it right now. Let me try once more. I'm bad at mashing, apparently. There we go, that should be fine. So you want to, let me make this save state again. You want to slash until you hear a low sword slash sound followed by a high one. Mid, low, high. That's actually a high one. I'm pretty sure of that. So that's the one that you want to listen out for, and if you miss it, for example, you get a low, then a mid, which can be used as a backup, but I will discuss that later after the routes actually sync up again, I guess. It's actually really similar. I'm just gonna go over it at the end a little bit. But first, let's go back to the low-high sound, which is the main route that we are gonna follow. So mid, low, high. That's the high one. After that, you move along. Make sure you don't do any extra screen transitions and stuff, because there's only a few things that actually roll RNG. Enemy movement, slashing stuff, slashing in general with your sword, not with the rod apparently, because the rod does different sword sounds. But this is also the point where you can actually check if you got the right pattern or not. You want to look at this specific pattern. There's the skeleton over here in the middle, skeleton near this torch, and a skeleton just off screen below here. That's the pattern that you want, and you want to move through here as fast as possible, because every time the skeleton moves, it rolls RNG. These hands are a little bit easier in terms of RNG. The movement is less strict. I think they only roll RNG once when they spawn. So just make sure you don't stall in one of those rooms, and you should be fine. Just move along. If you've finished watching the first episode, you know this hand snip. Move down a little bit to spawn him out of your way. 3 should spawn in this screen, and that makes you enter Aquamentus. So once you enter Aquamentus, you want to again listen to your sword slashes before he lands and starts moving around. So yeah, let me go through it one more time. Keep your movement optimal, or as optimal as you can. There's a little bit of leeway, but just make sure. So then you get to Aquamentus. So once you enter Aquamentus, you want to slash your sword again. And you want to listen until you hear the low sound. And then the next one you want to hold out. So mid, 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 low, mid. And hold this one out, and that's the one, that's the RNG that you want. That allows him to just walk at you and not charge you. Once he lands, you release your spin slash and you hack into him like a normal Aquamentus fight. It's 10 hits, and the sword spin counts for 2, so 9 hits, I guess, if you want to call it like that. Make sure you don't miss any sword slashes or slash your sword too much, because every sword slash rolls your RNG forward by 1. So if you miss 1, I believe it's still okay. But if you miss 2 or more, and if you are too far away, for example like this, you can still stab him like that. You just keep your sword out and walk into his horn instead of releasing it straight away, in order to save that RNG. So yeah. Also, if you enter and you slash your sword straight at the start, his flying sounds are actually on the same channel as your sword slashing sounds. So as you can hear, I don't make a sound. So wait a little bit, move a little bit further in, and do your sword slashes then, so you can hear all the sounds that you would need. So yeah, then you can finish him, grab the heart container, and move along. Make sure you don't slash your sword by accident, because every sword slash rolls RNG. And then it's off to the next part, which is going to the town. The town is more like a verification of your RNG value. It allows you to prevent winter also, which is particularly nice. Also, if you're unsure about your RNG value, you can actually, let me make a save state. You can actually, instead of opting to slash these two bushes separately, you can actually opt to slash this one, keep your sword out, and spin slash that one, which uses up one less RNG roll, because a slash rolls the RNG, which you skip, and slashing a bush, breaking a bush, I guess you should call it, also rolls the RNG forward once. So instead of rolling the RNG twice for this one, and twice for this bush, you instead roll it twice for this bush, and then once for this bush. But if you didn't miss any slashes, you should be fine, so don't worry too much about it. Just slash them both once. Make sure you travel left first, then down, so you visit the Octorok screen. That Octorok should be moving down. He can also move up then left. So he looks up and then moves straight left, which is the RNG when you are when you are one RNG further. But that still works because of the enemy movements in that screen. So yeah, then you enter the town. It should be fall. If it's fall, you did it correctly. If it's summer or winter, you screwed up really bad. And if it's spring, then it's probably the backup, which I will talk after we get to Rosa. So, save state, I'll use this one. Here we have the screen with Socko and this kid with a dog and ball. This kid is evil, because every time he throws the ball, he rolls RNG. Of course, why not? So you want to make sure you don't miss the tree. Whatever you do not want to burst your seed too early and miss the tree. So once you get in, you move down. You can still try to drop the seed early before the cutscene, but I prefer to like wait for it and wait for Link to turn before you drop the seed and then move along. As you can see, the Octoroks are here moving up, and the kid did not throw his ball before we transitioned. Well, for example, if you throw it too early or miss it, that was actually good. Like what I sometimes do myself also is I try to mash A out of this cutscene to drop it as early as possible. But there's still one frame where you can actually drop it up before you turn left. And if you drop it up or miss it in some way, then this kid will get another throw up and you advance the RNG by 1. Which means you have to take a shorter route later in 3 screens ahead of this. So yeah, you just move in. You can opt to go for the early seed drop, and if you miss it, too bad. If you get it, hallelujah, happy birthday. And you move along. These Octoroks will move up. You want to keep your movement tight in this screen. Otherwise, the Octorok at the top is gonna move left, I believe. So you want to make sure you are entering this screen pretty much at the top. Transitions roll your RNG, by the way, so that's why I'm using the save state all the time to get back to the same RNG value. So yeah, you move along. And you move up to this screen. Keep your movement tight. This screen does not roll RNG, so you can do whatever you want in this. And then you get the next screen, which is kind of the significant screen where you can see what your RNG is. So this is the normal RNG. This moblin is gonna run around in this corner and move out of the way for you to get through in the short way like that. So you want to move along, and you want him to move down. If he doesn't move down, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna add like 3 sword slashes, I believe, for the Rosa pattern. But yeah. And if you are, for example, 1 RNG too far, he will do a movement to the left. You can still do this movement because RNG rolls are less asked upon in that specific screen, which should still give you the correct RNG values over here. Let me actually check. Yeah. So yeah. Before we talk to Rosa, let me actually talk about the backup. So if you missed it, you'll not get the low high, but for example, you get this one, the low mid. That means you were a little bit too slow in the title screen. You can still do the same, basically the same pattern. Go in, push this, and again, make sure your movement is tight. Move up a lot here, because that skeleton is gonna move up. It's basically the exact same thing you're gonna do. Apparently these RNG values are really similar, even though they are like 5 RNGs apart. Come in, slash again until you hear the low, and hold it out, and finish him off. I fucked up. So that's the backup. It's because I released my spin slash too late, I believe. Thank you, Windows 10. Love you big time. So yeah, just keep your movement good. And again, slash until you hear the low sound. And you again get no charges. So the difference between this this RNG and the real RNG is that this RNG is actually like 5 RNG values further. We had to slash like 5 extra times, as you saw at the start. The reason it's important to know this is because not everyone matches fast through the title screen. Sometimes you miss it, and I myself sometimes have missed it before. And I wondered why I got spring in the town instead of fall. Well, this is the reason. So, yeah. You do exactly the same thing. Even with Acamentus, it's the same pattern. You slash until you hear a low sound, and your next slash you hold out. This one is gonna move down again, apparently the same. And instead of fall, you will get spring. Get out of this screen. I think the flower rolls RNG. So, make sure you do that. And again, you move around to this, I don't even know, southwest side of town. Southeast, east is right. Yeah. Don't miss this seat. You get a slightly different pattern here. You're gonna move left. And instead of having a nice RNG that nothing is in your way, this moblin is gonna be in your way. You hit him, he drops a bomb, and you continue straight to the right. Which brings you to Rosa. So this is where the two routes converge again. You come in, she moves right usually. If she doesn't move right, it's not a big deal. It just means you're on a weird RNG value. So once you enter here, you want to slash until you hear a low sword sound. Usually it's the second slash. If you had a little bit of different movement in the previous screen, you may be early. So that means you have to do more sword slashes, which means it's gonna be around 5. Until you hear the low sword slash. So after you hear the low sword slash, you burn this sign with your seeds, and it drops a 5 rupee. Which is the first of the 2 5 rupees. So from here on, you just need to remember the amount of times you have to slash, because you're on a set RNG right now. So nothing RNG wise is gonna roll it. So after you burn the sign down, you want to slash 4 times. And the last one is a low sound. So you can use that as like a verification, I guess. Rosa's gonna move to the left over there. And you can just move behind after her into this corner. This is where you are safe. And once you are in the screen, you want to slash 2 times. 2 high sounds, apparently. I didn't even write them down. I never really pay attention to it. So then you move up. Rosa's gonna move to the sign. You stay back, slash 2 times, and move up to the sign and burn it. For the second 5 rupee. So that's the Rosa manip. Don't forget Rosa's coming back. Let me do that again. I can do it from this RNG also. You just walk in. And you slash until you hear a low sword slash, which is that one. Burn the sign, get a 5 rupee, slash 4 times. And move up. get in the screen. Just make sure you don't get spotted. Move into your like little safe zone. Slash 2 times. And wait for Rosa to move along. It's gonna take a little while. Make sure you don't do any extra sword slashes. You can accidentally drop a seed. Dropping a seed does not roll RNG. So in here, slash 2 times. And burn the sign for a 5 rupee. So this is what the original manip was. You can actually stand up here without Rosa spotting you, which is really nice, so you can enter really fast. But from here, the RNG was actually continued by zmaster to go all the way to 22. So from here on out, you just go on as usual. Make sure you poke these bushes, because slashing them rolls the RNG one further. And then you make it to Subrosia. In Subrosia, you have these Subrosians, which are really nice people, I guess. And we're on our way to find like a beautiful little treasure, because at the start of the game, the Temple of Seasons actually got buried. Well, we're actually on the ground, I guess, because here is the Temple of Seasons. So once you enter here, the 4 seasons are starting to speak to you. Make sure you don't do an extra sword slash, because it rolls the RNG further and diminishes your chances of being on the right RNG at the end. And again, you can close text boxes with directional inputs, so that's what I usually do for the last text box here, to avoid slashing or wasting a seed. If you're unsure, just waste a seed, because wasting a seed does not roll the RNG while slashing your sword does. So you get here the Rod of Seasons. You can overmash that one a little bit, it doesn't matter, because you have a little pause before you get control again. So once you get over here, you want to go to the bottom right with the Rod of Seasons. This is the Temple of Winter. Before you enter, grab the bombs, and you can use that bomb to blow up that switch to spawn the staircase, which allows you to quote-unquote skip the boomerang, which is at the Sprosian dancing minigame, if you know that from your childhood or if you played this game before. Pretty fun minigame. So once you enter, you get to talk to the Spirit of Winter. She blesses your rod with the power of winter, and we're gonna see that later. 3 text boxes, and after that you want to save and quit. A normal soft reset, no hard resets. And make sure you mash through the title screen again, as fast as you can. So after leaving, the Maku tree is gonna speak to you about your quest. But it's Japanese, so we don't know what she is saying, unless you actually know Japanese, and in that case, kudos to you. So we got what we need, we got the Rod of Seasons, and we got the power of winter. So we can leave again. The same way as we came. I like to go up here because boomerang guy down there rolls RNG when he catches the boomerang. So don't idle on that screen. And then we move back. Let me actually make a save state. Because this is where you're gonna set up the RNG for Moblin Road, which is the road filled with moblins and other stuff. So you first slash these 2 bushes with a poke, just to get rid of them. If you get a heart drop, that's fine. If you get a rupee drop, that generally means you're too far into the RNG. So once you... I didn't make a save state. Yep. So here you want to listen until you hear 3 mid sounds in a row. And generally it's gonna be filled with highs and mids. So let me actually listen. High, mid, high, mid, mid, mid. Was that a high? I didn't listen. So yeah, 3 mids. So that's the pattern that you want. If you get like perfect text matching, the pattern is gonna be mid, high, 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 mid, high, mid, mid, mid. That's the one that you want. I just got high, mid, mid, mid. The end of the pattern. Usually you're gonna have to wait for the 3 mids. If you miss it, then your RNG manipulation is basically over. From this point on, there is no backup if you overshoot it, I believe. At least no one has found it or actually bothered to find it yet. So you want to make sure you get that mid sound at the end. Like that. And then you can continue on. Let me make a save state, because there's a kind of peculiar thing on the next screen. This next RNG pattern on the moblins depends on which button your rod is for some weird ass reason. I usually do it on B. It gives a slightly harder RNG pattern on the first screen, because the Octorok is gonna be in your way. So let me actually show it to you. First off, you have to talk to Soko about your newly discovered finds, the Rod of Seasons. Select the first option and continue on. So here you can see the Octorok is gonna spawn on the right and he's gonna move down, leaving a small corner over here to move through, which is a pretty tight cap, but yeah. So if you don't do that, and you put it on A, for example, you still have to talk to Soko. Press the first option. And you're gonna get a different pattern where the Octorok and the Moblin are out of your way, and you can just move along really easily. This doesn't change your pattern. The Moblin is gonna be on the right, and the P-heads are gonna be on the right too. But yeah, generally I do Rod on, because I like that. That's my original menu, and I'm not gonna change it for this thing, even though the movement is slightly annoying, I guess. You have to be a little bit careful. So yeah, it's only for this screen that the RNG is different, because as you can see here, the Octoroks are again in the same space. You want to move through these screens with enemies as optimal as possible. Except for this screen, I guess. You don't want to cut the corner too much, because then you reach the end too fast. So let me do that again. I don't think I've mentioned this in the first episode, by the way. I think I did actually. But when you have a fading transition on some, you can actually open the menu and save a little bit of time that you normally have to wait for the fade-in to complete. So yeah. Talk to Soko again, because he's an asshole and he wants to know about all your dirty little secrets. And change it to winter and move along. So don't cut the corners too much. I like to move a little bit straight at the end to make sure I don't move too fast. And then you get to this screen where nothing actually rolls your RNG. So you can continue on. In this room, the Moblins are going to be down there. The Octorok is going to move up, but he's not going to move all the way up. So you can just pass through this way pretty easily. The way to the stump over here is free. Move up. That Moblin is going to be in your way, but then he warps to the staircase. And once he actually is off the staircase, you can smash him out of the way with your rod and move up. So let me do it correctly and on pace this time, because you want to keep the pace going. Over here you can wait a little bit until he's off and move along. You can actually check the Moblin on the top left. If he moves, he rolls RNG a little bit further than the other one if he doesn't move. So if you pay attention to the Moblin in the top left, he did not turn. I'm gonna continue on, and I'm gonna show you what you have to do if he does not turn. It's actually really easy, because if he does turn, you actually get a bomb drop, and that's it here. These rocks can drop items, and if he does not turn, he does not get a bomb drop. It doesn't drop anything. If this rock does not drop anything, you dig until you get a rupee, a small rupee. This puts the RNGs back in place. So if he actually does turn, let me move again. Get the same RNG again. This Moblin is gonna walk down the stairs, slash him out of the way. He did not turn. I'm too fast. So yeah. I don't know why normally he turns for me, but I guess I'm fast today. There he goes. Now he turned. So that's what is advisable, I guess. If you can make him turn, then make him turn. If you go too fast, you have to dig 3 extra times in order to get to the correct RNG. So yeah, if he turns, you can just dig this, drops a bomb, and you're good. So now we're on to the next part. In this screen you have the 3 moblins. They're gonna bundle up on the bottom right side. And this moblin, you have to watch him. So he's gonna move all the way to the bottom right corner, then back to the left, and then he's gonna move up. If sometimes you can actually be fast enough so he does not turn up, which changes a little bit. So if you keep watching him, he does not turn up in this case, which gives a slightly different RNG in this screen, and you just move optimally in it. Make sure you go all the way to the left here also. And that changes it a little bit. Let me actually do it with the correct RNG. So if you move optimally like that, he does not turn. You keep moving all the way to the left and go to the stomp. Since he did not turn, you are a little bit behind on the RNG. So you want to dig up this ice snow block, and it drops a heart. Which puts these moblins back into the corner over there, and they are gonna move up. That's the RNG that you want. So in case you don't move optimally, you bump against the tree, for example, like that. He moves up. You move through. Make sure that moblin turns right, the red moblin on the top right. And go to the stomp. In this case, you don't have to dig up the snow heap, because they are already gonna move like that. So up here, dig this one. You can slash your rods to cancel out the digging animation if you're fast enough. Don't worry about it too much, it doesn't save that much. So over here you want to switch back to your sword and seed satchel. You want to do it on the fade in on this screen, because then you save the fade in, of course. And you want to do it before grabbing these mystery seeds, because once you have these mystery seeds, you have 2 different seeds in your seed satchel, and you open a sub menu. So that's pretty slow. So continue the RNG, move optimally, and this puts you at the start of Dungeon 2. So for Dungeon 2, you want to slash a few extra times to make sure you're getting a good pattern for the keys room at the start. So first off, you slash this bush, and you slash, what I like to do is I like to slash 3 extra times. The original manip is with 1 extra slash, but I like to slash 3 extra times, like that. And then you enter the dungeon. This room does not roll RNG, so you can move as unoptimally as you like, but move optimally, of course, because it saves time. Here you want to keep your movement okay. Make sure that soul does not jump twice. I believe he always jumps once, so you can't really do much about it. 3 extra slashes. Yeah, unoptimal movement. A move in. Then you get this pattern. Slash those 2 with 1 slash, and if it's correct, this one will actually be right up here, and you can slash it before, and then you slash downwards for this one. So let me actually do that correctly. 3 slashes. Let me actually make a save state inside to save all that trouble. So I can actually show you how you deal with that room. You want to move right away, move up a little bit, kill those, kill that, and kill that. So that works pretty decently, and you can grab the key. Let me actually see if I can get that keys to move normally like I expect him to do. Because the top one should be a little bit more to the right normally. Like that. I think I moved up a little bit too far, which causes the key and the rope up there to trigger too early. So yeah. You want to move along. Make sure you're not too high entering this room, because if you're too high, you're gonna get knocked by the exo. I think you can be too low. Like that. I think he doesn't hit you. Yeah. So you can be too low. You don't want to be too high. Like that. So move along. Move to the right. Kill those two with one slash, that one and that one. Then you grab the key. Once you have it, you save and quit. Make sure to mash through the start screen as fast as possible again. This one has a bit more leeway, so if you get here, it shouldn't be too hard to keep the RNG. So you want to light these two torches. And from here on out, we're gonna do another set of sword slashes in order to make sure we're on the correct RNG. So you want to listen for a pattern that is high, mid, low, high. So that's the one that you want to listen to. If you have perfect text mashing in the title screen and you have a good pattern, you can actually start with a mid, low, high, which is not the correct RNG. So make sure that if you actually get a good rope room and like perfect text mashing, you will know if you get perfect text mashing. No Capcom screen and everything. So yeah, let's see on which RNG I am. Usually it's gonna be mid slashes for a bit and then high, mid, low. High, mid, low, high. So as you saw, I had a few mid slashes before. That's usually the pattern that you'll get. So once you have this pattern, you want to move along. Make sure you move to the left a little bit here, so the Zol actually. Actually, I think you need this fire torch to fire one of those energy balls. I think that's what's changing the RNG. So go up here, make sure you move a little bit to the left in order for this room to have the correct RNG. Burn these keys so he isn't in your way, he doesn't hit you away from opening the door. And I stood around, of course, so that changes the RNG. So move in. Burn this one, move in. Move a little bit to the right so you can actually slash this one into the pit with one slash. I actually missed it because I moved a little bit too far. So I don't believe the hard hats roll RNG, but of course your sword slashes that you need to get them in the pit roll them. So let me actually do that again. Move to the left here. Burn these keys. Like that. And I like to move down here and slash him like that. That's the fastest way to do it. And that only uses 2 sword slashes. If you miss it, for example, you can actually do a 3rd sword slash. It changes the pattern a little bit, but it should be easy to handle. So let's see if I can accidentally miss it. Like if I slash too early, he's gonna miss the pit. And then you have to slash an extra time. So, and that's gonna advance the RNG forward by 1. Let me start with the correct pattern. Burn the thing. Slash the thing into the pit and miss it. Wow, I'm bad. You have to slash him really late there in order to get the right angle. Like that. Okay, save state. So this is the room with the moblins. These moblins are assholes, and if they don't walk towards the pit, you're gonna have a lot of trouble because they're usually hogging that wall over there. So the original strat was just to wait over here and slash them when they come close. But with this, you can actually do equip your bombs and nothing for later. So we have the bracelet there. And enter the room and grab a bomb. And you hit them both at the same time. So you want to equip your bombs. You can actually equip it right before you enter the room or right after. Move up a little bit to avoid that arrow that he shoots and throw the bomb when you throw it just a little bit over the pit to hit them both. Like that. As long as you pick it up early enough, it should explode in time, so you don't have to worry too much about throwing it too far. So if you slashed 1 extra time, for example, let me actually save this on a different slot. It's gonna be a little bit different. You have to wait a little bit more with picking up the bomb. You have to walk in a little bit and pick it up late, because that moblin is gonna walk towards the wall, and I missed it because I threw the bomb too high a little bit. So you want to move in a little bit, pick the bomb up, and throw it across, and you hit them both anyway, and you get your beautiful croissant, or the bracelet, I guess. So that's the RNG manip from Dungeon 1 boss key to the bracelet room. I hope it's all clear, and good luck with it. It's really tough to get started in as a starter, but it's pretty interesting actually. It gives a little bit of extra like trick into the start of the run, which wasn't really there before, which is really sweet. So thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you on my other videos, I guess, with Past Me. So yeah.